Let me explain something to all of y'all. Uh, Most of y'all who are, complaining about the elections. In my book, let me at least tell you my political viewpoints. I'm a libertarian, all right? So, not a liberal, a libertarian. What that means, pretty much the best analogy I can give you is the one that we used in prison. If someone took your honey bun, well, go get your motherfucking honey bun back. What you telling me for? See, libertarians believe that you protect yourself and you do what you can. Straight up. You are the king of your own nation. You have no ruler. But being that this country feels that they need a king to protect them, to fight their battles, whatever. 1 Samuel chapter 8 talks much about that. And there's a lot of folklore and fable on the subject as well. But being that you chose that, you must accept it. You have to accept it. It's your king. Even when you cry out now for the king that you have chosen, God's not going to help you. And on another note, a lot of people I hear their reasoning behind hating the king that now rules over them, Donald Trump, is because he's racist. He hates gays or whatever, and I don't know, a couple other things. A lot of me and my friends, we did a lot of research on Donald Trump when we were in prison. We had access to a full law library, studied law for plenty of years, and Donald Trump comes up a lot. And I must tell you, he's very knowledgeable of the law, especially when it comes to commercial relations, contracts. He's a beast. Matter of fact, I believe his name, Trump, became an actual legal terminology, being trumped. But not to exclude jurisdiction and so forth like that. He's very knowledgeable about what he does, and he is an intellectual society that we live in. He uses his wits to get the best deal. And because he does have wits, he is very intellectual, he always gets the best deal. He always wins. And a lot of people complain about that. But let me ask you something. Is it really his fault that this particular individual did not understand what he signed? Or simply did not read what he signed, inputted a false conception that he was going to receive, money is what he was thinking. And he just signed and turned out to that was not what the offer was at all. Is that Trump's fault, or is that the unintelligence fault? And should he have to learn from his mistake? Yes, everybody should. I hate to say it. Some mistakes may be a little bit more consequential than others. But at the same time, how else are you going to learn? And a footnote on the racist thing, and their reasoning behind it was the fact that he wouldn't rent to blacks. But if you take a look at it, and not only that, I guess they were saying as well that, the president of the KKK was, endorsing Trump. Okay, so he voted for Trump. But Hillary, her actual mentor, Robert Byrd, I believe. He's, matter of fact, the first Ku Klux Klan member that pops up on the Wikipedia. He was her mentor. He actually was up there on the podium, with her, whispering sweet nothings into her ear as she, made these frivolous speeches about bullcrap, in my opinion. I mean, it's almost like people can't even see these type of things. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Voting for somebody and being someone's mentor is two completely motherfucking different things. And I hate to break it to you with such profane, English, but whatever. Listen, and on top of that, gays, okay, let me explain something to you. Again, a libertarian point of view, as long as you're not fucking with us, you do what you please. I don't give a fuck. You can write up little certificates all day, marrying frogs and shit. I don't care. But again, that's not the society which you chose. You chose to have a king that rules upon you. And this particular king, whether you choose to believe it or not, he likes the Bible. He likes the Bible. And homosexuality, there was a word used in the Bible, and it was only used once in the Bible, right? And it was used to denote homosexuality. Do you know what that word is? That word is abomination. No other sin was denoted with such term. Now, if you look at it, all homosexuals, none of them believe the Bible. None of them. That's a fact. Now, I'm not saying that we should have a king ruling over us, because again, my political viewpoints. I'm not saying that you should love the king, even though the Bible says some other things about that. I'm not saying that you should approve of him and so forth. But again, he's the king which you chose. And you might say, oh, well, I didn't vote for this king. But the political system, you agreed to the rules that one of the two would become king. So, in all essence, you did accept, you did agree. That's the rules of the game. Now, I'd like to hit some other topics, but I don't think that it's very necessary. I just wanted to go over some of the main things, because I see what a lot of people are rioting over now in the colleges even. And these are kids that are supposed to be very intellectual. Again, and it seems like that's just simply not the case. Seems like we have a lot of dumbed down individuals in society today. We have a lot of pampered individuals in society. People that think that, they are entitled, or that the government should do everything for them. But that's why I implore you to actually take a look at 1 Samuel chapter 8, and the whole chapter at that, because if you notice, even though one may have a king over them, and their reasoning for having a king over them, whether it's protection, so forth, they end up doing all the work at the end of the day anyway. You should take a look at the law library sometime, whenever you get an opportunity to, especially the federal statutes. Make sure you take a look at the blue books. Don't go online and read the codes, because if you go to the federal codes and you actually see what the books say on the outside, you'd be quite surprised. On the top it says master, and below it says servant. Okay? So the master does certain things for you, which you end up doing yourself, or your kids do, and they pay them to do it. And then because they did that for you, you're literally subject to all those codes. What they call it is tax, levies, and duties. So not only do you have to pay money, but there's certain ways in which you must perform. You know, they may not want you growing a weed plant in your house without their approval, or, you know, certain things like that. So, I mean, this is an eye-opener. Maybe it'll bring a lot of people to realization of what government actually does, how they operate, and so forth. And, you know, maybe if you really want to make change, think about something. Think about something that can truly benefit you. Think about, you know, becoming self-sufficient. You know, think about not having to worry about bills or food or, you know, things of that nature. Because then, you know, you're creating your own energy. You're self-sufficient. You don't have to rely on another individual. So you do not need a king to rule over you. It's so simple that, I mean, and all this makes it very difficult, especially if you look at one of these law libraries. I mean, hell, the federal codes are bigger than this kitchen. I mean, literally that's all the stuff that we have to do for the little bit that they promise to do or say they're going to do and may not do, for whatever the reason may be. But yeah, that's it for today. Much love from Mike Love. And maybe I'll catch y'all on the other. Hey, listen, I don't know about all that subscribing stuff. I really don't have like a big YouTube or anything like that. But if this does end up blowing up, because I know I'm going to use like keywords that relate to, you know, the elections and all that stuff, maybe it does. You know, I get a lot. Somebody fill me in. Fill me in on like how this stuff operates, because I would like to do a couple more videos in the future, if I could, you know, maybe not many, just maybe a couple. Anyway, all right, thank you. Bye now.